Hi, Dad. Welcome back to another episode of David Andy's Honest About Life. How you doing?
I'm doing well. How about yourself?
I am wonderful, thank you.
That's good.
So we teased up this episode. It's a big topic. It'll probably take us, the rest of our time together today. The one about why does every generation feel like the sky is falling in a unique way, in a significant way, more significant than to their parents' generation, falling in such a profound way. Is that just human nature, or is it really, the challenges we're facing today in this particular generation? Is it more significant than it was for you? Can you dispel that myth?
I don't think I can. Not the amount of time we have, because I do believe that everybody wants to believe that they are living in the best of times, uh, or the worst of times. They're saying, "Boy, it never was like this back when we were growing up." But I think that is human. There's a huge amount of human nature that comes in there, that we want to believe that we're making a difference. We want to believe that what we're doing now is better than what we did before. We want to believe that our life is getting better. It's good. It's and and all these things are tough, because we think back to those times that, when we were growing up, we didn't have, as a parent, I didn't have to worry about the kids having cell phones and sending pictures or whatever, themselves. Cell phones, kids these days, they have always had cars. I mean, I remember driving a car when I shouldn't have, when I was too young. So that's not as much of an issue. Fast cars, you mentioned that in an episode back. Um, you know, but I think the main thing that we have an issue with now that kids have to deal with is the cell phone. And tell me if I'm wrong, but uh, that seems to be a lot tougher now to control things with our family, with our kids, because of the cell phone than it was back 20 years ago. And it's only been, I don't know, how long have cell phones been around? I don't know,
Yeah,
20
probably.
years?
Yeah,
I think
about that long. Yep. Yeah. That is, and when I grew up, we didn't obviously have cell phones, and that didn't happen until I was late teens or an early adult, right? So that we had to start thinking about that. But even then, the kind of content that is easily accessible on the web through your phone, that didn't really come about in my youth. So I didn't have to make those difficult decisions about whether to, go looking for that information as a child, right? When your brain is still developing and you're making poor decisions and you can't help it. I didn't have to deal with that. I definitely think that that is a problem for young people. And I'm curious about the long term implications of seeing some of that information, graphic information of all types, and how that's going to affect them long term.
that's
So, yeah, but, so
that's a good
today we're
point.
talking, about war, Russia, Ukraine, we're talking about Turkey and Syria and Israel. And we think that that is unique, but that really isn't unique, is it? I mean, these sorts of things have been going on for a mighty long time, and you all had to solve some really tough challenges back in your day as well. So, is it like you said? I really like what you said. We want to believe that we're in the best of times or the worst of times, and so that's just human nature to feel that way. What is it? I mean, because we're not right. We're not living in harder times now than we did, or are we?
Just different. I think different times. There are different problems that we have now that we didn't have back then. And you brought up some very good points there, Andy. And I think, um, you know, those different problems are going to have long lasting effects on our kids. I just believe that they're seeing things around the world that I never saw. I mean, I didn't know what was going on outside of Minnesota. you know, um, so now kids are finding out what's going on around the world, and they're seeing some very graphic images that are going to have long lasting effects that we probably don't even know about at this point. And that's very challenging, I think, for humans to figure out. We have to figure out what we're doing and how we can control that. Again, we have to try, people probably say you can't control this. Well, I think for your group, your family, your relations, your cousins, those start out small. Let's get these things together. Let's get our families together. And then we'll start to figure out the bigger problems, the bigger issues around the world, maybe.
Yeah, I think that so much of what you just said, in terms of the bigger problems and around the world, and we have access to information, right? Young people can see how people are living around the world in a way that we couldn't have seen. So it's sort of out of sight, out of mind. The suffering that's going on. Politics. We all have access to politics now. I imagine that representatives from different states, they had to get to Washington before they could really find out what was going on in all those other states. Now they can hear it, see it on Twitter, on Facebook, on the news every day and every night. So that we're able to react much more quickly, and of course that leads to negativity and gosh, it's just it really information and media, and you were part of this for a mighty long time, and you probably even said this when I asked you questions like this, Dad, about what the media's role in what we understand and what we learn and how we perceive the world. And I think you've even shared that with me that depending on where you are, whether it's politics or religion or education, the media can direct our thinking. And you saw that.
Yeah, that's a point that I brought up a while back, and I believe the most powerful thing on this planet, the most influential thing on this planet, is the media. That's what when I've gone out and given talks and stuff, I kind of focus on that, because people, they may, half the people in the audience that I'm talking to probably looking at their phone, or more. And I just think it's the most influential thing that we have on this planet right now. And it does affect all of our lives. So it's very powerful, and that's very scary. When something has that much power to change thoughts around the world, that's scary.
Oh, I couldn't agree with you more. It is, and I saw something recently about we don't need to go down this path in this short amount of time that we have left, but the role that the media plays, and it interconnects with religion or interconnects with education, and all of a sudden we have another reason to dig our heels in and be on one side, polarized, right, on one side or the other, because this particular side of the aisle says that I need to sort of get in line with all these things with religion, and I do, again, this is a huge conversation for another time, but media plays a role in all of that.
Yeah, it's very very interesting, and I'm sure there are a lot of people that are looking into this power of the media, and it's been studied, and we're going to find out things that some of them are probably hugely horrible, and other ones are very beneficial. So I do believe that there are benefits from this kind of powerful thing if it's used correctly. If we can all step back and say, okay, I know this is very powerful, and I know this is happening, but still, let's make up our own minds.
I think you said it well. So let's end with that. And for the viewers who may have heard a puppy in the background,
Yeah.
will you tell us what you got? What kind of puppy?
I love dogs, as you know, Andy, and you have a dog as well. I've loved dogs all my life, and I've had dogs. I've had all kinds of dogs, but recently I've gone toward smaller dogs. I had a lab, nice, beautiful, big black lab. But this little dog that I got is just cute, and she's crying in the background because last night was her first night here away from her mom. She's 8 weeks old, and I just get a kick out of her. She's a little Yorkie and Wire Terrier mix, so she looks scruffy. And we kind of named her after a character in Harry Potter. We call her Luna. And if anybody's watched Harry Potter, they probably know who I'm talking about. But she's just a sweetheart. She's the cutest little thing, and I can hear her crying in the background. So she wants me to get off.
Oh, you're right. And every once in a while I hear that. So I thought it's important for our viewers to know what that is. And it is a rescue puppy as well. So,
Yes.
obviously you feel good about that.
Yeah, I wish more people would consider that when they're getting their animal companion, is to consider a rescue animal, because they're, they don't have another chance. Give them a chance,
Right.
because they're sweet. They're sweet animals.
They really are. Oh my gosh, Dad. I'm proud of you for doing that, and thank you for that good message, and thank you for all the good stuff that you've been sharing with us. Your perspective, uh, uh, you know, uh, based on your experience over the years is valuable,
Thank
and
you.
I appreciate it.
Thank you, and yours too. I love listening. This is so good between you and I, and hopefully, we can be of value to other people as well. But for you and I, and you brought this up before, this is something that I'm going to cherish until I die.
Me too, Dad. Me too. Well, thank you for that. All right. So have a wonderful rest of your day, and look forward to next time.
See you later, pal. Love you.
Love you, Dad.